Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. This is going to be creepy as hell. I'll be really honest with you. We talked about this last night. We touched on it. This would be the story out of Pennsylvania. Wisconsin, I believe. Pennsylvania. Some county. It sounds like that. No, it's not that one. It's Maryland County. Sorry. But this is a creepy, creepy story about a guy that robbed a crap load of graves. And I said last night, you know, the first place your head goes, hello, Roberta, Diane, good to see you. Winchester Super X, what's happening? Hey, honey. Your first thought is, I hope this guy isn't a creepy Satanist, necrophiliac or whatever. Avac, how are you? Hey, Christy, good to see you. This is one of those situations that, and I said, it might make a little bit more sense if we thought this was just a dude that's doing this for money. But I thought, Johnny Scoville.
What'd you think?
I thought he's going for Rolexes. Guys in the 50s, guys in the 40s, they got buried with their watches. Bless you. They got buried with their watches. Women got buried with wedding rings, diamond rings. And they found a stash of jewelry and such that he pirated from graves. So, hello, Renee B. I thought maybe this is the kind of thing that's going on here. That ain't it. And this is so damn creepy that as I start deep diving, and I'm like, this shite cannot be true. We can't live in this world. Like, this isn't a world that we live in. Unfortunately, it most assuredly is. Hey, Natalie Strasser, I'm glad you're here. It is good to see you, Wendy R. You're still in my thoughts and prayers. And you can be in everyone else's too. She lost a fur baby. And you know what? I don't know about you, but it takes me a really long time to come to grips with that. I'm still mourning Linda, and that was 30 years ago. Tell me she wasn't a lady, though. What a cat. Linda was incredible. Anyway, this guy's name is Jonathan Gerlach, and we talked a little bit about him last night. Talked about how he had 100 bodies at the house, allegedly. He had 100 bodies at the house and 8, Johnny Scoville, allegedly, in a storage facility. He had them in different parts of being chopped up, put into different components or whatever. Long bones apparently fetch a decent amount of money. Skulls can go almost up to 1,000. Watching without sound and no caption. Well, that's just downright tough. Can everyone else hear me, or is that just you can hear me? Can I be heard? Can I get a 5x5? You know what? People wouldn't be putting ones up if they couldn't hear me. No, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Well, you'll have to double back on this, Christy and East, although you didn't hear me say that, so I'll just do this one. Later, you'll know that was for you. This is a really bizarre situation. This guy was quartering these people up so that he could sell them. As it turns out, and I dipped into this today, and I want to tell you something. I want to wash my eyes out with bleach, and I kind of want to move to an even more remote part of the planet, Johnny Scoville. I don't know where the hell we go. This is just the creepiest stuff in the whole world. I can't believe this is the freaking world we live in. You can get about $1,000, allegedly, up to $1,000 for a skull. Now, is it legal to sell this stuff? No, not really. Not if this is the way you're getting it. So I started doing a little bit of research, and let's do this real quick because this will be good for laughs. For those that didn't get a real good look at the thumbnail, right? This is your boy. This is Jonathan Gerlach, and a handsome cuss at that, isn't he, Johnny Scoville? Do you like the turtleneck?
That's right. I fired like 100 of those guys in telemarketing rooms over the years.
You know what? The Wiffle said to me, he looks really familiar. And I felt like saying, well, I'm not surprised. He's wearing that I might worship Satan camouflage. And look, man, I'm not against tattoos or whatever, but the nose ring, the sort of ominous look, and then that whatever's going on his throat there, which had to be a lot of fun. I've got a lot of ink. I can't imagine that's a fun tattoo. Would you like to get your throat drilled? Huh? No, I don't think I could get into it. But anyway, that is Mr. Gerlach. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking to myself, look, you don't have to agree with me. The guy doesn't necessarily look satanic to you or whatever he does to me. But nevertheless, I start going down this rabbit hole of where people buy stuff like this. Guess where they get it, Johnny Scoville?
Tell me where.
Groups on Facebook.
Stop it.
I'm telling you. There are groups on Facebook that are just dedicated to selling body parts, books that are bound in human skin. I mean, this is Ed Gein shit. This is Hannibal Lecter stuff. This is Buffalo Bill. Puts the lotion on the skin, or it gets the hose again. the horror movies that we see almost always come from real life. Ed Gein works his way into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He works his way into being part of Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. He was a serial killer who killed people and did things with the skin. Sorry, it's a movie reference, but he did. He made lampshades. He made all kinds of stuff. Ed Gein was a stone cold freak, and it is creepy. It's creepy to everybody. It's one of the reasons I'm covering it, because creepy is fascinating, right? But this dude's selling books that are bound in human skin, all kinds of creepy stuff. So I start going, if there's somebody buying this stuff, then there's a market. There's got to be a black market for this. And if there's a black market for anything, it shouldn't be that difficult to find. So I start going through it. And it turns out that this is actually a real thing. There are weirdos who buy this stuff for art or for decor or for curiosities, with items like skull fetching hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on condition. Instagram, Facebook, all of these different platforms have this particular genre of weirdos.
That's bizarre to me.
It's absolutely bizarre, right?
You know why?
Why's that?
Because we're not weirdos.
Well, it could be that.
Oh.
Historically, universities relied on imported skeletons because America doesn't allow this stuff. So if you had a skeleton that was kind of hanging up, and they would go, the knee bone's connected to the thigh bone, that kind of thing. All of that had to be purchased from outside the United States until they started making them out of plastic, Johnny Scoble, because they thought that might be a better gig.
You know what we should do? I got an idea. We should get them out of plastic and tell people they're real. So you can fetch $1,000 a head.
I like where this is going. I love it when you ask your brother questions like that. It makes it exciting. Look, Johnny's a weirdo, but even Johnny's tripped out by this stuff.
Wicked.
Yeah, this is so wrong on so many different levels. So universities used to buy this stuff overseas. Occasionally, Occasionally, they will go to the black market to get something if they can't find it. So, and I'm going to prove this here in a minute, but social media has amplified the market. By the way, the other use for this is creepy in every single aspect. People that don't worship the same people that you worship, if you know what I'm saying. Wait a sec. Do I get demonetized for Satanism? Is that one of those words? Can I say satanic? Satanism? People who are into religions that don't usually go along with what most people believe, right? The smallest section of people who are, they're different, aren't they? And I'm not trying to disrespect any religion, but Satanism, I think, gets a pass. That's just creepy. But they buy skulls to stick candles on top of or in the eyes of or whatever kind of shit. And they also like to buy bones to grind up into powder for use in rituals. And what could possibly go wrong? So I started to see if anybody else has ever been busted for this, because I'd kind of like to know what kind of time Jonathan Gerlach is going to get in trouble for, because holy shit, the guy stole over 108 bodies that we know of. By the way, I was able to find some of the stuff in the Wayback Machine. They're obviously cleaning up the internet, but I was able to find some stuff like I was able to find his PayPal, and his PayPal has a skull for the emoji. Damn, that's not a good look. But he's not the first person to get busted. In 2023, the Harvard morgue scandal involved manager Cedric Lodge selling parts like brains and faces via networks using PayPal and mail, exposing a nationwide web. Okay, so this is a dude at Harvard, the institution for higher learning. This would be our boy right here. That is Cedric Lodge, Harvard morgue scandal. Now, imagine this. You go to Harvard and you really have a love in your heart for your university. You're part of the endowment, right? So as you get older and you're approaching death, you go, well, screw it. I got my medical there. I'm going to donate my body to Harvard so that med school students, people in biology, can actually work on a cadaver. Only to find out that they're going to start pulling pieces out of that cadaver to sell online. And this cat right here, he got busted for it. And he worked at Harvard for a long time. It was almost like an 11-year run of him doing this. His wife handled the brokering of it. And one of the guys that he sold to, right, because this dude looks fairly normal. I mean, not everyone with a goatee looks satanic. This guy, though, on the other hand, damn, One of the guys he was selling to was this dude here, Jeremy Pauly. Look, we don't usually body shame here on the Lifeboat. I don't care if you're a few pounds overweight. I don't care if you're a few pounds underweight. I don't care if you have a large nose. I don't care if one eye droops. I don't care about any of this stuff. I am, however, going to take a shot here at Jeremy Pauly because I knew guys like this in prison. Get a look at that right eye. You'll notice it looks awfully black. Lovely, isn't it? They call that tattooing your eye. Now, to be really honest, you don't use a tattoo gun to do this. Instead, you use a hypodermic needle. And if you have a weak stomach, this isn't, well, look, I won't get into a lot of details. But what they're doing is just barely inserting the tip of the hypodermic needle into the eye and then squeezing black ink into it. Now, keep in mind, this is a hypodermic needle that 40 people used that day to shoot dope. And they probably sharpened it on concrete or on a matchbook, so that there were no burrs on it. Scariest shit in the whole world. What this does to an eye, they honestly don't have any idea. It's not a great idea, but it hasn't been around long enough to allow that to happen. Put a 2 in the chat if that dude looks just a wee bit satanic to you. And just in case you just got here or you forgot, let's just look at him one more time. You'll notice that those are some spikes on the top of his dome. Do you see that? That's a good look there. They literally put implants into your head that you can screw those in and out of. So he's got, a mohawk made of metal points. Nothing odd about that. He's got that snake bit thing on his lip. He's got the, the 3 little, plug and a couple of rings. Obviously, the eyes are gauged. And I don't know, man. Like, you want to tattoo your face? That's on you. The whole blacking out the eye thing, I've had so many conversations with people that did this. Right? People that have actually done this. I've probably known a dozen, maybe more. And I'm not a guy that can just watch that shit go down. Like if you come in and it says F you on your forehead, and then you see that in prison all the time, you should probably just keep your mouth shut and let that guy go about his business. I can't be that dude. I've never been that dude. So I would walk up and go, do me a favor. I'm not trying to be a wise ass, but walk me through the day. This seemed like a good idea. You got up, you did some oatmeal, right? You went out to the yard, you worked out, you came back and went, I know. I'm going to tattoo guarantee no one on planet Earth is ever going to treat me the same way because nothing says marry my daughter or give me a high-paying job like F you spelled out on your forehead. I have to ask. The other one with the eye things, I would go up and go, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but why would you do that? Like walk me through this. You ever heard the expression, the eyes are the windows to the soul? If the eyes are the windows to the soul, what does that man's right eye say to you? If you see somebody that does both of them, it looks like you can see his iris. I mean, you can't. The entire thing is black. You're looking at the light from that picture. That's like a ring light or whatever. You will not see anything. It blacks the eye out like you're not seeing snot. Because basically it goes black over everything but the pupil, and the pupil obviously isn't white either. So you end up with just this soulless looking. It's terrifying. And without exception, the people that did it, every one of them, nobody said, I did it because I think it looks really cool. Chicks like it. It's a hot look. Nobody says this shit. You know what they say every time? It scares people. I'm not kidding you. Everybody I ever met, they go, oh, man, it's scary as hell looking. If you're someone that wants to scare people when you just walk up, there's probably something wrong with you. David Booley says he looks like the devil. How does that affect the vision? It's a great question. Cricket, they don't know yet. Honestly, this isn't something that's been done for 30 years. So it may not do anything as soon as it gets in there, but it's absolutely going to affect something further down the line. Cannot judge a book by its cover. I agree. He appears to be evolving. Darwin Awards. Yeah, it's, it's funny too. We had one guy in prison and I don't know what it was, but the ink wasn't right. So the eyes didn't go jet black like they do with everybody else. It was really funny because he came in and he goes, what do you think? And my friend goes, you don't look evil. You just look sad. And everybody that saw him was like, man, they did something different with your eyes. You could still see the brown. It was just the outsides of it. It just looked sad. He didn't look, most of them look really, blindness is a risk. Oh, you bet your ass it is. I remember talking to a doctor about this. And I said, what's this going to do to the eye? He goes, oh, I'm not sure. He said, but because they don't teach this in med school, he goes, but it's probably not a good idea to stick a hypodermic needle in your eye and fill it with soot. I mean, I don't know whether you realize that, but the ink that they make in prison is soot. We burn stuff and we catch the soot on top of a piece of metal or on top of something, and you scrape that off, you put it in water, and you just shake the shit out of it. It literally takes weeks to break down the soot into the water. But that's what makes that color. You know, we can't buy ink inside. You got to make that. And it's probably not a great idea to shove it underneath your dermis, right? And under your skin, but to put it in your eye, I mean, you got to be woofing me, man. Yeah, very bad idea. But I'm seeing a pattern, right? I'm seeing a pattern. The people that seem to be in this business, right, tend to look like, well, they're not what, you know, you'd want your daughter bringing home, right? And again, nothing says give me a high-paying job or marry my daughter quite like that whole setup. The guy with the one eye that is blacked out has already been convicted. He's already been sent to prison, and he's doing, I think, in the ballpark of 7 to 9 years. But what he was doing was slinging these bones, right? He was a guy that was brokering all kinds of bones, but he wasn't out grave robbing them to get them, right? He was buying them from this guy. He was buying them from other people, right, who have the ability to get at this stuff. And this Cedric Lodge thing, this guy is a prime example. If you happen to be in a business where what you do for a living is you absolutely take a look at dead bodies on the regular, if that's what you do, yeah, I'm sorry, people. They just look just a pinch not normal, but that's just me being judgmental. That's kind of how I get down, right? That's just kind of how I get down. But let's say you're working at Harvard. Let's say you're working at a funeral home. And if your first thought goes to, well, what if it's an open casket? How many funeral homes cremate people? When you hand the ash over, you think that the woman's going to go, feels a little light. I'm missing a skull, maybe a thigh bone. Probably not. But people do get convicted for this. And our boy, Jonathan Gerlach, the guy on the thumbnail, I just showed you a picture of him. He's got that whole neck thing. Looks like he's wearing a turtleneck. Gerlach is going to end up doing more time because this is a dude that was grave robbing and desecrating and all of the other stuff that our satanic looking friend with the black eye and a mother and father that probably love him or did at one time. That cat didn't have that whole litany. I mean, robbing 100 graves, that dude has 500 counts against him. 500. I'd be really surprised if he doesn't get at least 25 years. Any update on whether he was a necrophiliac to things you know what? Here's the thing. I think anybody that is this fascinated with the dead, I'm just going with he probably banged a corpse at one time in his life, and which is sort of the definition of necrophilia. Whether or not these people were necrophiliacs, you have to have a screw loose in a really big way to try to make a living this way. To be comfortable having organs and brains and things in your house, you got to have a screw loose. And I am of the firm belief that people with wildly loose screws tend to have sexual predilections that are far less normal than mine. And I ain't saying that I'm normal. Rocket Queen, good to see you. Creepy grave robber. Yeah, and for profit. Dogface Pony Soldier, good to see you. It's absolutely terrifying. Satanic ritual abuse, says Dogface. Hey, look, part of the market for this. Oh, and by the way, you don't have to do this because my dumbass did. But you can go out and look up this particular black market. You can go out and look at this market. It's not hard to find. There are group pages on Facebook for people that buy and sell medical oddities, people that buy and sell body parts, bones. There are bone collectors. Cricket says humans confuse the shit out of me on a regular basis. Yeah, you and me both. In fact, that may be the best comment of the day. Robin Miners, yeah, you should brace for a rugged for a rugged stream. Screw isn't loose. It's in another realm. You make a good point. Mo Lester. This is nuts, right? This is absolutely nuts. This guy's got 100 bodies in his house, basement, whatever. The hardest part for me on this is that you entrust the remains of your loved one to a mortuary, and they cut your family member's head off and then sell the skull to be done whatever. Imagine your mother or father's skull off in some satanic ritual somewhere in East BFE, right? Up with a bunch of guys with really sad-looking black tattoo eyes dancing around a fire and chanting while grandma's head has a candle on the top of it. That's enough to make you want to stomp people out like a brush fire. Oh, what a kind thing to say. I really appreciate that. This is just creepiness, people. This is absolute creepiness. And they got to start stiffening the laws for things like that. I just showed you Mr. Handsome with the one black eye. You're selling body parts that the people who cared about these individuals have no idea what happened to these body parts. The thought of my bones being ground up so that somebody could do a satanic ritual with it. I think when I get really old, I might just swim out into the ocean. Although I'll probably be buried down here, and I don't think it's nearly the risk down here that it is there. These kind of things, honest to God, man, I don't know how to explain this. I really don't. But there's so much shit that happens in the United States where people just go, huh? Because the rest of the world, these are things that would be so hard to explain to any normal person. That this is an industry. It's an industry that's illegal, but you can go to Facebook and find groups to buy this stuff. Pay with PayPal, they'll ship it to your house. And at $1,000 a skull, right? They said between $200 and $1,000 for a perfect specimen. I don't know what that means. Gold grill. What do you figure a perfect specimen is? But apparently there's a lot of money in babies and in fetuses because the way that they're embalmed apparently changes things different than an adult, and they end up almost mummified. And Gerlach and his fellow scumbags, this is the kind of stuff they're hunting for. Of course, when you break open one of these crypts, you'll take whatever you get because all of it sells. This is horrifying to me. Yes, they do. I've got friends in crawl places. That's funny. They call us oddities and wet specimens, or do you mean they call it oddities and wet specimens? Are you in on this, Melinda? Huh? You creep. Apparently, Kristen Melinda is slinging body parts. You heard her. She said us. I'm kidding, obviously. It is just evil, right? It's creepy as hell. And if it seems like I'm making light of it, it's because if I don't, I'm going to get really depressed that this is the planet we live in. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of this kind of stuff that I'm just shocked that you can openly do it. So I'm in South America, which makes buying anything in another country a very difficult thing to do anyway. But I went there today and just started to go through the process, and I could have had a skull or a long bone or anything else, right? And you're going to have it shipped to your house. There's nothing to this. Absolutely nothing to this. Renee B says, KM, I'm side-eyeing you. Yeah. We make jokes or we start screaming and can't stop. It's not such a bad comment, Cricket, for real, because that's kind of how this goes on. I'm disturbed as hell that this is the world that we live in. And I joked about this last night. I said, maybe I would feel better if they were doing it for money. At the time, that wasn't widely being reported. Then I found out that they were doing it for money. And I thought, how the hell do you get some asshole to buy bones or whatever? Yeah, they do. They absolutely do. I told you, bone collector, oddities, like there's things that you can find groups really easily. And then I found some groups that I'm not going to say the name of on here. But there are groups of people that believe that God is God, but they prefer going with the other, with the losing team. And for whatever reason, think that the whole satanic thing is cool. And there are sites for people that want to buy stuff for this kind of creepy ass ritual. And there are entire groups online dedicated to this. I'm all about free speech, right? I don't censure myself on here. I'm one of the few YouTube channels that you come across that will say murder and rape and everything else. And I don't care. It's something liberating about not caring. But there's free speech, and then there's why can I have a website to break the law? Because that's free speech. These people are buying and selling body parts. They're buying and selling organs, right? That's terrifying to me. This, you know something? Great comment. Mo, what a great comment. If these sickos are openly trading on Facebook and Instagram and a bunch of other ones, imagine the real discreet stuff that stays under the radar. Scary world we live in. Well, I didn't want to go there, but since we're going there, you know what the scary? Apparently, the most money that gets traded in this industry, right, is for kidneys. Now, I don't know how much you know about kidneys, but if you're doing it for a transplant, those people can't be, they have to get those while they're still warm out of the body and stick them on ice. You're not going to pull it out of a grave. So if that's the biggest part of this, then the urban legend of people losing kidneys isn't an urban legend. Now, whether or not they're taking one and leaving somebody in a nice bath after, they just went out with a hot chick and they woke up at a hotel with a note that said, call 911, we just stole a kidney. That, I can't find any stories of that taking place. Although I've met 50 people in my life that told me they had a relative that happened to. But I can't find any stories about it written anywhere in papers or anything like that. That said, other countries kill people for organs. And it's scary to me that this is just something that goes on. It also scares me that I spent a lot of time believing a lot of shit that people have told me over the years that aren't true. The United States of America has said numerous times that they've never, ever found an actual snuff tape of any ilk where somebody filmed somebody being killed for the purpose of selling it. And I'm here to tell you right now that there's a burgeoning industry of people that buy that crap. So I know that's a lie. So who knows what else is happening? So how do they advertise online? I'm confused. Well, here you go for always, forever, and for life. They have groups on Facebook. Groups. Like, the Lifeboat has a group page. Well, they have a group page that's just for people that want to be able to buy and sell things you're not supposed to be able to buy and sell. Oddities, like books that are covered not in leather but in human skin. There are many documentary of organ trade. It happens everywhere. Nobody is safe. It's the truth. It's the truth. Here's the thing. If you absolutely happen to buy cousin's brother's hairdresser's aunt, well, not her aunt, but the guy that used to deliver her packages from UPS, it happened to him. Or maybe it was his aunt. So what they do is they have these group pages where you can just go and discuss this stuff. And then as soon as you get into the group and you start to discuss it, someone will say, yeah, I just bought something fantastic. Where did you get that? Direct message me. And that's how the whole process starts. Well, there you go. Not for nothing, but people who need a kidney transplant have to get them from the waiting list. It's illegal to buy a kidney or a liver or a spleen for transplant or for a legitimate reason. Nevertheless, it is the biggest moneymaker in this, in the whole buying and selling of body parts and organs and such illegally. That's where all the money is. In spite of the fact that a skull's $100,000 and this guy had 108 of them in his house. So obviously there is a demand for it. Save Ferris passed out at 28 flavors. That's genius. How come police haven't shut them down? Well, because free speech lets you do whatever you want. They're not putting something up there that says, hey, check it out. It's a skull. You can buy it for this much money. But if you put up a group, the group comes together and everybody starts talking. And now you know that you're all on the same page about things. You can start direct messaging yourself. I'll tell you something right now that you may or may not know. And this will bum you right out. But every once in a while, you got to get bummed out. The child pornography. Can't say those two words. I promise you. That's a death sentence on a YouTube video. But that kind of entertainment, right? That kind of sick, disgusting exploitation of kids for weirdos' sexual gratification. If I said to you, where do you think most of that stuff gets bought, sold, and traded? I don't think your guess would be Facebook or Instagram. But the truth of the matter is that is a massive distribution center for that kind of pornography, right? Child abuse, sexual material. And they do it the same way. They make groups. And have you ever been added to a group and you go, I don't know what the hell that is, so you don't even click on it? Good. Don't click on it. Because a lot of those groups are just trying to get people in there so that they can start to send them things they don't want to see. I don't like Facebook. I don't like Messenger. I don't like any of that stuff. Once this guy ends up in prison, are the other guys going to be cool with him, or is he in instant danger? Well, here's what he's got going for him, Ann from Massachusetts. Thank you, Copper Tropicals. I do have the shirt on the correct way today. Thank you. If he ends up in prison, there's going to be a whole car, right? You've heard the term car. It means who you hang out with in prison. I've never been to a prison that didn't have between a half a dozen to a dozen Satanists on the yard. They all hang out together. They get creepy ass tattoos. Usually got a 666 big as hell somewhere on their face or their neck. It is they're not likely to get into a lot of beef over that, unless, of course, I mean, if the fellows believe they were doing it for greed, then there's probably not going to be a lot of crap given to them. If the fellows believe they were doing it to have sex with the corpses, they're probably going to have a tougher time. It's bizarre how all of that works, but it is this is a story that we're going to be hearing more about. And the reason that I say that is I don't believe for a hot second that they saw the graves that were broken into and then they came across Gerlach. Somebody had to be on to Gerlach even before that, because so Lodge got busted and then the Satanist with the one black eye got busted, because when you bust people in a black market, they don't want to go to prison for 25 years. So they're going to tell on other people that do the same thing. And we know from from doing some deep dive on this that this cat right here, come on now, that cat right there, Cedric Lodge, the guy that worked at Harvard, he was doing business selling stuff to this guy right here, who looks like he's just a wee bit depressed. He's got the dark eye thing. Not a really good look for him, in my opinion. Not a really good look for him. But so this is one of those situations, like so many other, where they're all going to start turning on one another, and that's how they find out. I think when it all comes out in the wash, we're going to find out that this guy was probably doing business with this guy. And he may have even been doing business with this guy. This kind of collectible, it can't be that huge a market. I don't mean worldwide, because apparently Nigeria is really into this. Who would have thought? Those people that were comfortable calling you up on the phone and trying to rip off old people for every dollar of their inheritance would be willing to sell something like this for drugs. A little White Zombie reference, can't go wrong. No, you do not, is the answer to your question. Absolutely, you do not. However, if you open up a grave to get a little thigh bone, which you're going to grind into a powder, and then you're going to take that powder and mix it with the blood of a virgin and do some kind of a ceremony to get the girl that you want to fall in love with you, then you still have to rob that grave. And the craziest shit about all of this is there are people that believe this stuff, 100%. There are people that are out there doing rituals and buying this kind of stuff so that they can do sacrificial or ritualistic stuff. And the fact that there are people on planet Earth who think that they're putting the baby they just lost, right, in some kind of a internment, only to have either the people at the mortuary sell it because there was a woman busted for that, or to go have the graves robbed. I'm telling you right now, man, if one of the guys had taken my child out of a grave and sold him, I would commit a crime to get into the same prison as them. This is a pretty foul thing to do. Off topic, but when a video gets demonetized, do you still get the money from the super chats? Yes, we do. They can't take that. And you know, even when it gets demonetized, it's not usually fully demonetized. It's just that, let's say you would have made $25 on the video, you might make 15. What they're saying is certain advertisers don't want to work with you if you say rape or you say COVID or you say any of that stuff. But maybe I don't want to work with those advertisers. Ever thought of that? Maybe I don't want to work with those people. If you can't take the English language, I don't want you around. Or any language for that matter. If you have to tell people they can't say this, you can say that, you can't say this, I don't want to know you. How does the body not reject those implants? Well, here's the deal, Laura Lou. When someone steals an organ, it still has to be matched, and then so you're going to have blood type issues and things like that. And in most organ donation cases, with some exceptions, but with most of the big ones, you're going to be on stuff to basically make your immune system to intentionally weaken your immune system. Because if it doesn't, your body is going to reject the organ. Good Lord, Alicia. What the hell color is that? Are you in another country? Wow, that is generous beyond belief, Alicia. I really appreciate that. It's humbling, and it's really, really generous, and I appreciate that. Good Lord. That will, you know what? Now we can really say rape today. We can say suicide and everything else. Who cares if it gets if it gets demonetized? Alicia, that is very, very kind. I appreciate it. You know what? I should say this, but about 5 or 6 of you over the course of the last 6 months have said, you just got to kind of get back doing to what you're doing. Stop talking about the past. Stop talking about anything else, and just kind of get back to doing what you're doing. And I don't know. I'm back doing what I was doing. I'm happy as hell about it. It feels fantastic. And thank you again, Alicia. You just made my day. You really did. That is such a kind thing. My niece had a heart transplant at age 12. She had a T-shirt that said, "You can't say no to me. I'm on anti-rejection medication." You know what, Cricket? There's a camp in California, La Corazon camp, and it's for kids that have had transplants, kids that have had heart issues. My daughter went to it for like 16 years, and has a lot of friends from there. I wouldn't be surprised if your niece may have gone through there at one time or another. A lot of kids with heart issues, heart transplants, born with certain heart deficits, but it's all for heart kids. It's a beautiful, beautiful program. It's kind of crappy. Creators can't say what they, with bearskin hoodies running around endlessly in their videos. I am of the firm belief that if you start to do that, and I did for a while, man, I really did. Your niece is starting pre-med next year. How cool is that? My daughter is just in college now too. They're not going to change my speech, right? I read 1984. I've read a shitload of books. And if they can get you to say 2 + 2 = 5, or if they can get you to say a man can have a baby, I don't care if anybody gets pissed at that. Men can't have babies. I'm sorry. But once you get somebody to say something out loud where the premise is so bizarre, it's just what they were doing in 1984, right? You got to break him. If you can get him to say 2 + 2 = 5, then you can get him to say anything. It's just the way it is. And I'll tell you something. A bunch of people have left comments that said, I really want you to comment on the ICE situation. You don't want me to comment on the ICE situation. I mean, honestly, here's the thing. There are 4 camera angles, including the body camera that the cop was wearing. Go watch all 4 camera angles. Keep in mind that the woman came from another state with the intention of breaking the law. I break the law, I get locked up. But I don't attack people with a 2,000-pound weapon. That cop got hit. Once you hit a cop, they're going to smoke you. And you're not getting this much sympathy from me. I'm sorry. I don't give 2 shits that she got shot. I don't care if she's a parent. You break the law, you get shot. I go into a bank, I got a damn good chance a cop's going to shoot me. I know that when I walk in. If I get shot, I'm not going to go, oh, how could they do that? I have a kid. You're a criminal. You break the law, you're a criminal. Aim a 2,000-pound car at a cop, I hope he shoots you. That's my whole show on that. I'm sorry. And I'm not a cop fan, for God's sakes. I'm a criminal. Right? But that's just plain stupid. And they're doing it to be cool. They're not breaking the law for $1. They're driving across state lines to go hassle the government. Protesting doesn't work like that. Protesters used to sit down and go like this and get handcuffed. Because if you protest, you occasionally have to cross the line to protest, and you get handcuffed. And then you walk to court. Then you can challenge what they just did to you in court. That's what protesting was, right? You try to push that. Now they go, you ain't taking me in. Well, then shoot them. It's kind of how that works, man. You want to throw bottles at cops who have guns? I hope you get shot. That's not protest. That's assault. You want to aim your car at people? I hope you get shot. That's not protesting. That's assault. This doesn't take rocket science, man. And the woman standing outside the car going, gun it, drive. Well, now you can mourn, right? Now you can mourn. And they're going to just scream about how they didn't do a damn thing wrong. Well, I did a ton of stuff wrong. I just didn't piss and freaking moan when the consequences came my way. And that's all I have to say about that. If you're just getting here, Jonathan Gerlach is a guy from Pennsylvania. He got him a nice long pry bar. He started going into a really old cemetery that just doesn't have the budget to continue to monitor it. And this puppy is so big it goes into two different counties. I mean, this thing is massive. So they started busting out all of the mausoleums, right? It just looks like a big wall full of headstones, sort of, and they just slide the stuff in instead of digging into the ground. And he started stealing bodies. And when they finally caught him, he had over 100 bodies in his house. Some of them were cut up in different places, all bad, right? He was selling the body parts. And this got Tommy Scoville going, holy shit, people sell body parts? So I started looking into it, and there's a black market for this you wouldn't believe. So when people bring someone in to get them cremated, there are mortuaries that are chopping those people up so that they can sell them. When people donate their bodies to universities so that they can be cadavers, they're going in and stealing organs out of them and then afterwards selling the bones. A guy named Cedric Lodge from Harvard got busted for this. That would be this large gentleman. He got busted for this. So did his wife. He was doing the stealing. She was doing the selling. He was selling to this guy right here, Jeremy Pauly, handsome bastard that he is. Again, I'm seeing a pattern. Don't judge me, but I'm kind of seeing a pattern. None of these guys look like you might have run into them at the golf course. You know what I'm saying? Because this is Jonathan Gerlach. I'm sorry, but they don't look like they'd be singing in a church choir. You feel me? They kind of look like they're going for that satanic look. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm judgy. I've been told I'm judgy in the past. Honest to God, I have. But that to me, necromancers. You know what? I said this yesterday. I may have said it to Reese. If not, I said it to somebody else. But this happened to be, Christy Anise, I hope I didn't offend you. I can't back that up. Honestly, I'm sorry. I don't care if I offended you. I'm getting back to the topic. The number of people that are asking me to do that story, that needed to happen. That's where I fall down on that thing. And if it bums you out, we can agree to disagree. Necromancers. Look, at any level, these people are too into corpses. Could you sleep in a house that had 5 bodies in it? I sure as shit couldn't. Add 95 to that. How about adding books laying around your house that are bound in human skin? And allegedly, he was in there doing things with their skin. This is a guy that was cutting hands off so that he could sell just hands to people that wanted just a hand for whatever the hell you would want a hand for. The fact that there are people out there ready to buy it is just as scary as the fact that this guy's ready to sell it. Honest to God. Like if I had hair on the back of my neck, it would be standing out straight. And this is happening in a allegedly civilized nation, right? Well, here's the thing, Just Joan. I don't think that pleasure is what they're going for. I think evil is what they're going for. Now, there are exceptions to that rule. Ted Bundy was a necrophiliac. He was willing to admit to just about damn anything, except he didn't want to be called a necrophiliac and he didn't want to be called, a pedophile, which he was both. One of the last people that he Tommy, don't want to racially profile, but why 2 white-appearing young men? Well, because both of them who were arrested are white. I'm guessing that's why they appear white. The mastermind at Harvard was black, and a lot of the people that are buying this stuff, some of the ones who have been, if you get busted buying it, the crimes are very minor. I looked up a bunch of those people. I just wasn't going to load up all of the pictures. I would say it's predominantly white. It is not 100% white. It is not 100% male, but it is definitely predominantly male and white. But there were plenty of black folks and there were plenty of women, at least in the buyer collection. In the people that have been busted recently for selling it, the 3 that you're going to look at, these are the 3 right here. This kind of was a mastermind at Harvard. He was selling stuff to him And this dude, somehow they found out about, and he's the guy that just got busted with 108 bodies in his house. But Cedric was black, as was his wife. They were both convicted on this. His wife got a slap on the wrist, and that's probably because he was willing to do the a little bit more time for her. She got a year and a day in federal prison. Well, and here's why, I appreciate that. We can always agree to disagree. But watch the people that have argued with me on this one so far, go watch every single camera angle. If you jam the gas on in your car and you hit a human being, so the cop should just go, hit me again. You can hit him, take a right, you'll get him. That's a weapon, whether it's a knife, whether it's a gun, whether it's a blowgun, whether you're going to throw a bottle or a hammer, that's a weapon. If you attack someone with a weapon, they're going to use their weapon to stop you. And they've been professionally trained to do so. And you want to drive across state lines for it? It's an asshole thing to do. I'm sorry. It's just not a smart thing. It really isn't. They look like they misplaced their dad's age at about 5. Yeah, you're right. Never found them again. No one taught them what becoming a man actually means. I know the feeling, kind of. I'm just not evil. Well, I'm glad that you are not. And you know something? These are people that are evil for money. These are people that are evil for money. I'm not giving Jeffrey Dahmer a pass, but the guy had bad wiring. He had sexual predilections that were so damn devious. He had bad wiring. These people look to me to be people that probably know where they're at. They're not bat crap crazy. They're choosing evil. And there is a difference. We're talking about the Nick Reiner case. There is a difference between pure evil and the difference between severe mental illness or just bad friggin' wiring. Drew Peterson. I met Drew. I knew Drew personally. He made a choice to be an evil bastard. He started bumping off his wives because he didn't want to pay alimony or child support ever again. He said his first wife took him for so much money there was no way in hell he was going to allow that to happen. Yeah, I did hear this. Did you know that ICE officer got dragged by a car? I actually did hear this. It's well, and here's the thing. The number of times where people like that have been shot, how many ICE agents just got killed by that or shot by that dude or attempted to be shot? He ended up killing inmates. But there are people shooting at these people because they disagree with the law that was passed by the government. If you want to hurt the officer who's carrying out the law, deal with the people that wrote the law, you asshole. Sorry, not sorry. Yeah, this is terrifying, right? This is absolutely terrifying. This has gotten to the point where what people will do for money, they will desecrate corpses. They will peel skin off of corpses to sell. They will sell children that died at 1 or 2 years of age for more money because who's ever buying those are paying top dollar for that. We have to start putting laws in place that make this kind of theft such a deterrent. If you could go and rob 100 graves, this guy started allegedly in that area in November, and when they caught him, a week ago rather. So he had maybe 5 weeks or whatever to steal 100 corpses. This is profitable to beat hell. If he got 500 for every skull, this dude's making a lot of money for a short period of time. There has to be a deterrent in place, or there are just going to be more people doing this, man. The world has turned into a television show with everyone on the edge for the next season. Man, that's a great comment, Sickly. It really is. And Quibs is fond of, she had a meme that she found that said that it doesn't seem like it almost seems irresponsible to head into next year this quickly after just getting rid of last year. And there's something to that. Jeremy Pauley this is Captain One Black Eye. 43-year-old man from Thompson, Pennsylvania. He used to be from Enola in Cumberland County. Was prominent figure in the online oddities community where he operated a business dealing in macabre items like preserved human remains, skin-bound books, and fetal specimens. His case came to light in 2022 when authorities discovered he was involved in a nationwide network trafficking stolen human body parts, including hearts, brains, faces, hands, skins, and fetuses. Prosecutors estimated that he made about $550,000 before they caught him. That's a shitload of money, people. Take that from a YouTuber. $500,000 to go out and desecrate people's graves. He didn't get enough time, man. You ask me, he did not get enough time. And he has appealed his sentence because, he's got $500,000 lying around. I'm sure he appealed his sentence. But absolutely, yeah, another one from Pennsylvania. Yeah, this seems to be big. But you have to understand something. If you're a grave robber, you're probably going to be, the East Coast has been burying people for longer than the West Coast has, right? I had a friend that was a history major in college, and he grew up in Salt Lake City. And when I took him back east for the first time, he was like, I want to see some graves. And I was like, what? He's like, well, there aren't any graves that are hundreds and hundreds of years old in the West. So there are people who are into this kind of antiquities, stealing corpses and things like that. You have a shot of stealing people that are considerably older. Let's say you're into satanic rituals. If you could say, this guy died in the Civil War, right? He was shot through the chest in the Civil War. There's a hole in his head from where the bullet went through. As crazy as it sounds, this is the kind of shit that fetches more money. Pennsylvania, born and bred with a history going back there since 1600s. I don't think I'm nuts, wacky. Maybe it's not all of us. No, Joan, it's not all of you at all. It's just that, again, if you want to rob graves, it's just as you said. You got family going back there to the 1600s. Well, then we started heading west. So the real historical graves and all of that are going to be in that part of the country, to be sure. Hold on one second. No excuses for people being twits. Well, I love that comment. There shouldn't be. There absolutely shouldn't be. The love of money is the root of all evil. You're damn right it is. And you said that right. It's the love of money that is the root of all evil. It's not money. Money is a beautiful thing. Nothing wrong with money. Nothing wrong with money. But the love of money is a problem. And when people start to worship that over or put more faith in that or put more desire in that than they do in treating other people right, then you end up with Jonathan Gerlach stealing 108 bodies that we know of and slinging these things online. Cemeteries are interesting in Massachusetts. When I went there, I'm not a weirdo. No, I do this. I go and look at cemeteries. It is fascinating. I grew up on the East Coast, and there was, even in the town I lived in, there were graves that were hundreds of years old. And it used to fascinate me even as a kid. Somebody else gets it. That's what I want on my mantle, the body of a Revolutionary War relative, and no offense taken. That is funny as hell. It really is. Hey, Big Chill. It's just creepy as hell if you want to know the truth. And if we don't start making the laws stiffer, then people are going to realize, because when criminals are lowlives. Honestly, they don't usually do it. In movies, we see things like Fast and Furious. These guys go out and they commit crimes for, right, buying Ferraris and being able to travel all over the world, and they've got diamonds and rare art. People steal to take care of drug habits. It's very rare that people steal for other reason, but some people do stuff because it's evil and it can make them a good living. And this is just evil. But guys that break into houses, they look at the obituaries and it'll say so-and-so is, passed away 3 weeks ago. His memorial will be at 2:00 on Wednesday. They'll know that the person who just lost someone won't be home at 2:00 on Wednesday, and they'll go hit the house. It's a disturbing ass world that we live in, right? But when people see stuff like this guy made $550,000 selling body parts, they'll take a risk. There's a graveyard in their town that nobody's gone to in years. It's overgrown. They'll just go start doing it. The only way to make that happen is to make the penalty so punitive that it scares the shit out of people, that they go, holy hell, he got how long? He got 50 years for doing that? Watch how fast that market dries up. You start cracking off 50-year sentences for this. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is evil incarnate. Christy, you're going to be waiting for the Netflix and Harvey Levin groundbreaking report for a hot minute. Well, that's smart. It really is. Hey, Valerie. Well, let's break this down a little further. Valerie says, and Valerie's been around with us for a long time, but Valerie says, I'm told that I'm a bit weird, but I don't think it's because I am from Pennsylvania. Do you have a skull on the mantle? I'm just asking, right? I'm not judging, but do you have a skull on your mantle? Hey, Pete Taylor, good to see you. Desecration is the worst, and they're going to have a little added fund for Mr. Gerlach because he also desecrated the graves of veterans, and that is something that they at least take a little bit more seriously here in the U.S. But one of the other things, and it's unpleasant, but how about the 108 people that Gerlach stole? What about all their relatives? How are you going to link back up that body to that grave? How are you going to figure out which people got sold and to who, and can you get them back? There are a lot of people in this world who aren't going to rest because of what happened to their family, and that's disturbing. Heather Rhodes, good to see you. It should make you mad. I no longer have any mantle. Okay, so you no place for your skull collection. Yeah, especially the kid. I mean, honestly, yes, if you could rob graves from body parts, there's no telling what else you can do. That's right, Rocket Queen. People don't, I mean, when you're at that point, I've said this before. I didn't start out robbing banks. You don't, you sort of climb the evil train as you're going. You find things that are more profitable that take less effort. And where did they start out that this seemed to be a good idea? What were they like that they stumbled across this black market in the first place? Did you start off buying the stuff? And if you did, why? I'm sorry, I think that there's a satanic element to anybody that can go and do this and be happy about it. Yeah, cricket, I get that. I had a friend in college that was, well, I don't know that goth had really started to become a thing yet, but he was super dark, and he collected Aleister Crowley books. He was super dark. He was very intellectual, but he said the same thing. I would draw the line. I was backstage at a concert with three crazy rock bands. I don't know if I should out, but I was there because one of the guys I was with was delivering large amounts of drugs to this concert. And they were passing around a chalice that had blood in it. I swear to you. And the guy that I was there with took a pull off it and handed it to me. I went, "You have bumped your mother loving head." I'm like, "Why in hell would I drink that?" He's like, "Come on, dude." He's like, "Seriously, you're going to look uncool." I said, "That's all right, because I'll be looking uncool in the parking lot. I'm not hanging out at this shit show anymore. What the hell's the matter with you people?" Uh, but is stealing dead bodies or slicing up live people and stealing their parts, does that make one crazier than the other? Uh, I'm going to go with no. I think both of those are batshit crazy, Just Joan. I wouldn't want somebody killing a live person, but I don't put much of a distinction in the mental illness or the evil between them. If I had to prefer, I'd prefer the person was already messing with someone that was already dead. But I got to say that there's something wrong with both of those cats at a really deep level. The Lamb Funeral Home, Pasadena, California, was shut down in the 80s because the grandson was offering discounted cremations in order to harvest and profit off the parts. Deceased. Awful. Didn't he also, wasn't the Lamb Funeral Home where they were also just dumping the bodies afterwards? They weren't even burying them. They found them in ponds. They found them all over the place. Wasn't that the same case? Unless my memory serves me wrong. I get this a lot. I never had any blood in vials with Angelina Jolie. Um, no, you're thinking of Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton used to wear Angelina's blood around his neck, and she the other way around. Reese will tell you it was who? It was Jennifer Aniston. My girl's an idiot. It was Jennifer Aniston and Portia de Rossi. I have no idea anything about Angelina Jolie. I'm innocent of those affairs. It was Portia de Rossi and Jennifer Aniston. Yeah, Billy, not Tommy. That's all right. We'll let that one pass. The new owners have converted the funeral home into an escape room with the lore. Oh, wow. Well, at least, that's turning chicken shit into chicken salad, right? You got a terrible reputation because of what you did there. Let's bring people in and freak them out. Got to look for the angle. Yeah, that's not creepy at all. Yeah, you know what? Hey, I got no problem with a little bit of weird. I have no problem with a little bit of weird. I really don't. But I don't know. Maybe buy a plastic skull online. They can make those things look very, very realistic. But going out of your way to try to acquire something that was dug out of a person's grave. I'm a watch fanatic. I wouldn't buy a watch if it had come out of somebody's grave. And it would probably be in amazing shape, right? It wouldn't have had any wear on it. It would be perfect. And I couldn't do it. I just could not do it. Pete Taylor. Yeah, I don't think that, I don't think you could talk me into that. I guarantee you couldn't talk Reese into that. Um, Not because she wouldn't wear blood around her neck, but she would have to like prick her finger or whatever to make it happen. And she would just go, why would I want to do that? I can't even get her to do a fist bump with me. They make a crystal one. Look, I would have a crystal skull. I think those crystal skulls are cool as hell. I would have one of those in the house. All right, people, I got a good show that's coming up tonight. I might even put a teaser up before then so that you know what it is. But I should be going at about 9 o'clock this evening. I'm Tommy. Between now and the next time I see ya, put a little love in your heart. Thank you for stopping by. And good Lord, Alicia, thank you so much. You really are kind. God bless you all. See you on the next one. I'm Tommy. Bye-bye.